Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the J22 Report. I am your host, Johnnie Market. You all know that drill. Hit that like button, subscribe if you already haven't, and I just wanted to follow up on one more about net income and gold and the stocks and why I wanted to. And I just wanted to show you one thing. And I don't think this is really something you can deny. And don't get me wrong, I think like the stock market and crypto and everything has taken away stupid speculative money. But I think what I'm going to speak is the reason the miners have not performed like the royalty and streaming and everything. So, first one I'm going to show you is New Gold. I own this. It's I bought it around here. Forget exactly where, but I'm doing really well on it. I did own it around this time. I got frustrated with it. Bought at 6, decided to sell out. And this is one reason, I think it was around here, is when I decided I was trying to play that rebound. And I just kept getting frustrated. And I'm glad I sold out because went to 3, 2, and just went down. Uh, None of this, just want to do a disclaimer. Like, none of this is financial investment advice. Just my opinions and my thoughts on a sector and a market and everything. Do not invest on me. But if you look at it, new gold, when around here started going back up again, and it wasn't solely the gold price. Some of this cost dilution have also gone up, and this is one reason gold has really done poorly. Is 2020 was really the peak of gold, but then gold prices started going down for all these years. Meanwhile, costs have gone up. A lot of people say, no, it's just noise. It's not, but first I'm going to show you something. And if you haven't watched my royalty and streaming video, but let's just go to the balance sheet. First, if you look at this is New Gold's financial statements. See if I can get the name here. See, you can see right here, New Gold, right where hopefully my mouse shows you, but it's New Gold. And a lot of things I can say is, let's see if we can go to. So first of all, you can see the net income in 2023. They lost money. Meanwhile, net income 37 million, I believe. That's what I think. In 2024, 3 months ended last quarter. And so far 47 and a half. And here they lost 37 million. So that's quite a jump in new gold. This is all other comprehensive. So, and this would also right here, if you don't know, this is where is it? Retained earnings. Now they say common shares, this is how many. Contributed surplus, but deficit. Look at this deficit here, 2412. This is why New Gold, if you saw the chart before, was rapidly declining. They kept losing money. Kept losing money. And this is the one thing you can tell you that sort of supports my opinion. Even with the rise of the small stock market and everything, if they were continually making money, they'd still go up. Now, bubble, mania, and I agree. Like, miners and metals will not have some sort of mania until the stock market. But royalty and streaming was doing well. So, but yeah, if you look at this is retained earnings sort of deficit, huge deficit, and that made their equity less equity in the company as they continually lost money. So that's new gold. Let's go to another one. We don't need. This is Barrick, and Barrick is always. And if you look at it right here, capital stock 27. This is the most recent balance sheet. Look at it right here, 6092. And if you look at the accumulated deficit, it's 6713. And right here, where's the net income? And you can see 780. And when you go to balance sheets, I don't know if exactly, but right here, 67609. So you can see the net income has really gotten the deficit down. So they have a deficit, and that's why it's rapidly fallen. So, and it's one of the reasons was gold prices, even though since they've gone up from 2015 through 2019, the gold price probably has gone down or less. But then 2020 hit a top, went to 2000, and then it went back down to like 16 or 1500 and just based there. 2022 had a short spike to 2000, but then went back down. So the miners didn't really get to sell at that price for much. And then once again, once again, it goes bases up until this year. Now, 2024 is when they really got to really sell, a lot, most, if not all, their production at the 2000 plus price. So look at Barrick Gold, retained earnings. So negative retained earnings. Let's go to Newmont. This is another struggling. And if you look at its accumulated deficit, retained earnings, 2101, 290.96 was the year before. And you can tell 2023. And so, but that's why Newmont's gone up probably a good amount this year, is the retained earnings are starting to increase. I know I sound like some boring finance class, but that's sort of my school of thought. And sales, net income, continuing, discontinuing. So right there, 111.4. So right there, 1149 or 992. 992, that's basically the net income. And then this time around last year, 1.8. And you can tell right here, 2023. Yeah, it won't go down. So you can see the net income has risen drastically. And then why have the miners not done well for over a long time? Why have they not participated in some of these rallies with the gold? And here it is right here. Retained earnings. It's in a deficit. So that's Newmont. I don't own Newmont. So sorry. Newmont and Barrick I don't own. So New Gold I do own. And then let's see this stock. Kinross Gold, which has gone up last year, doubled. But you can tell right here, accumulated deficit, negative retained earnings, 8982. So you can tell they are paying down, and that's why Kinross has gone. And let's see, where is their? And if you look at it, their net earnings 390. So that you can tell right here, where is it? Net earnings, I'll try to 390. Net earnings in 2023 were 108, but 390. And just looking at the this is the retained earnings right here from last 8982, and then after the 390, 8420. So I think after a couple of positive earnings, these stocks will start doing well as these retained earnings start. Maybe they'll be coming to a surplus, but Kinross, which is around $9, I was just looking at it, was $20 before the peak in 2011. But you can tell negative retained earnings, negative stock price. And then here's Anglo Eagle. And if you look at Anglo Eagle, we'll just do this real quick. I believe AEM. Now, I do own this stock. I didn't own it originally, but Pan American bought. bought out Pan American and I have it now. But if you look at it, let's go. Where I'm looking at was 2010 peak. That's at 80. Now it's at 83. As you can tell, 82. So it broke its 2011 high in 2020. And then it's broken that high again in 2024. And you would have had dividends too. So why has that one as opposed to the other ones I showed you before? Well, here's why. Retained earnings right here. Retained earnings, 1.7, they have a positive retained earnings. That's why that stock has been able to break its 2011 high as opposed to the other ones. Now let's go into some royalty and streaming. We're just going to go to, once again, I own it. So I own this Franco-Nevada. If you look at it, its retained earnings here, 380.3. I don't know what the millions are, but very strong retained earnings for Franco-Nevada. And I think that's why it's done. Just looking at it real quick. I know this sounds, but a lot of people there are people out there saying just the stock market, AI, and crypto is the reason the stocks aren't doing well. And sometimes you just have to get back to the basics. And if you look at it, Franco-Nevada didn't become public till like 2008. And that's when it really started getting a lot of deals. And you can tell they have positive retained earnings. And if you bought it at 2012 or 2011, 40, you really made money. Well, I know because I was one of those people. Franco-Nevada has really done miraculously for me, so I'm very happy with it. But Franco-Nevada, there it is. At the end of the day, retained earnings. And this is Wheaton Precious Metals. And if you want to look, let's go to Wheaton Precious Metals. They did have that problem with the Canadian Revenue Agency, CRA. Well, if you look at this, why it's done well and outperformed going back is why it's at 61. It was at 19 in 2019. I memorized the stock price, even though you can't see it here. And it really went to 40 around 2011, came all the way back down to 19, had a lot of debt, and it actually was doing poorly. It went down to this debt paying program, started paying down their debt. And then in 2019, they had the CRA, and it really moved up. Okay, if my computer's not going to cooperate. And so now it's really look at the retained earnings, 3.5 million, or who knows, maybe in the billions. And it's really gone up to 61. So I just wanted to do this video to show you the difference in retained earnings in the miners who haven't done well. And that's one reason the juniors haven't done well. It's not just speculative money, but the retained earnings. They have negative retained earnings, they dilute and whatnot. And these stocks, these majors who would buy them have to have positive retained earnings. And it's not just the juniors. A lot of the seniors and mid-tiers haven't been doing well for the most part. There's some that are doing well. But as you saw with Anglo Eagle, they've been doing really well. Meanwhile, Barrick and others haven't. And just go look at their retained earnings. That explains why. And yeah, and this is why I think over the next year and a half, and the stocks may go parabolic because now they're having positive earnings. They have positive net earnings, positive free cash flow. And even though let's see what the gold price is. Gold is way up. Look at that. It's up $9 tonight as we're doing this. So it's around 2643. It's over 2600, way above. They can make good, positive, retained earnings and pay down the negative in the positive and just do well. And that's why I think they will continue to move for the most part. So anyway, that's all. Just wanted to reinforce. Uh, and one of the reasons I did this is one thing about the gold community is I don't mean this in any negative way. Like you'll see, there's no gold. There's this, still remember crash JP Morgan. You got manipulation. It's very easy to get caught up in conspiracies and theories and whatnot. And sometimes you just got to go look at the basics. And sometimes there's a better answer there than there is somewhere else. And I still think that Bitcoin and whatnot have taken money from gold in the speculative case. But why the gold stocks have been negative and not performing well, I don't think crypto stock market or anything is to blame. I think the reason it's doing well is because of it hasn't been doing well is because of cost, high cost, and lack of earnings. So anyway, that's all I have. Hit that like button, subscribe, and just remember, nothing should be construed as financial investment advice, just my opinions and my thoughts on the market. See you next video.